Morning, good morning, good morning. It's a bright and sunshiny day. Hey, sorry I'm late. I just couldn't get up. Yesterday, I was so tired. Me and the dog by 7:30 was laying in our beds. Yeah, and I fell right to sleep. After her singing and everything. After my singing to her to sleep. Good morning, James. So, that's why I'm late. I just couldn't move. So, so I couldn't really move. I couldn't get up out of bed. So, there we go. So let's get started. We're just gonna listen to the book of Ruth. Um, I think I'm going to make a slideshow or something, maybe of Ivy and put some pictures in there and videos, and I can play that. Um, while we're listening to devotions and stuff like that. That might be good. Hi. Oh, you got treats. Okay, let's get started. Our Father in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come soon. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today the food we need and forgive us our sins as we have forgiven those who sin against us. And don't let us yield to temptations, but rescue us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Jehovah, Jehovah, thank you for another beautiful day on your beautiful earth, and thank you for allowing us to wake up today. And thank you for what you did for us in the past, present, and what you will do for us in the future. And I would like to say happy 37th birthday to my niece Ashley. Oh my gosh, 37 years ago. I remember waiting to hear if my sister gave birth yet. And then just a few days later, we were making our way up to New Hampshire to go see her. The little, oh, she's so adorable. She's all red, freshly born. Yeah. And when I held her, I'm like, oh my gosh, she was so little. I held babies before, but she was so itty bitty. I didn't hold Bridget when she was newborn, a few months old, but not newborn like Ashley. Ashley was just what, I think 3 or 4 days old. And we got to the house at 9 a.m. I mean, you came too early. My mom says we can leave and go back home. She says no, 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 you can stay. Mm, it was funny. So let's get started. Jehovah, please continue to help Tate who has a heart condition and cancer, Cindy Lee, King Charles, Kate, Jen's friend Shannon, Michelle, also known as Topanga from Boy Meets World. And of course, she's a parent on Girl Meets World. So, Girl Meets World is like a sequel to Boy Meets World. Please, they all have cancer of different stages and different kinds. Stages mean 1, 2, 3, 4, and uh, non-operable. You can't operate. You can't. That's what the doctor says when it's too difficult to do. So if you go to a different doctor, that doctor might be more advanced and can do the surgery or do what is it, radiation to shrink it to get it small enough to get to it. Because my mom, I heard someone was inoperable cancer. She went to a different doctor and she got it removed after some radiation treatment. So it's not always like that. Like if it's the middle of the brain, then it's definitely inoperable. But you can get it to shrink. So, okay, and then kinds is like breast cancer and bone cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and all that kind of stuff. So give them physical and mental strength to fight off their diseases. Celine Dion, please release her pain in the seizures and the spasms. Poor girl. And when she sang at the Olympics, you didn't know that there was a difference. I couldn't tell. Well, of course, professionals would be able to tell. I did not know what she said, but she sang into her French, her language, her native language. There's French. So, I think that's her language. So, she seemed beautiful. I cried. I'm like, help Jenny with all her ailments. She has quite a few. Christina with her daughter who's pregnant. I think she's still pregnant. If she gave birth, let the baby be healthy and the mother recover well. Tiffany with her son and her ailments as well. Robin Taylor with her ailments. Miss Diane with her ailments and her daughter's mental status. Arnie, Vicky family, stay strong, girl. I know you listen to this sometimes. Keely with her daddy. Please help daddy and put your healing hands on him and cure him. Carol and the mom, please help them. Give everybody mental and physical strength to get strong mentally and physically and fight off their battles. In Jesus' name, amen. So we'll just go back to this. Yeah, see? And we'll do this. Press play. There's only 4 chapters, though. Oh, by the way, we're not going to do like 7 chapters. We probably will do like 3 or 4 chapters when we do Bible reading. And that's, in maybe Psalms we can stop and like talk about it, each chapter. Because their chapters are really short. Well, some of them. 119, man. Whew. That's long.
Ruth.
Ooh.
Chapter 1. Days when the judges administered justice, a famine occurred in the land, and a man went from Bethlehem in Judah to reside as a foreigner in the fields of Moab, he along with his wife and his 2 sons. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. and they came to the fields of Moab and remained there. After some time, Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. The men later married Moabite women. One was named Orpah, and the other was named Ruth. They remained there for about 10 years. Then the 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, also died, and the woman was left without her 2 children and her husband. So she started out with her daughters-in-law to return from the fields of Moab, for she had heard in Moab that Jehovah had turned his attention to his people by giving them food. She left the place where she had been living with both of her daughters-in-law. As they were walking on the road to return to the land of Judah, Naomi said to both of her daughters-in-law,
"Go, return, each of you to your mother's home. May Jehovah show loyal love to you, just as you have shown it to the men who have died, and to me. May Jehovah grant that each of you find security in the home of your husband."
Then she kissed them, and they wept loudly. They kept saying to her,
"No, but we will go with you, people."
But Naomi said,
"Return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Can I still give birth to sons who could become your husbands? Return, my daughters. Go, for I have grown too old to marry. Even if I could hope to find a husband tonight and could also bear sons, would you keep waiting for them until they could grow up? Would you refrain from getting remarried for their sakes? No, my daughters, I feel very bitter for you, because the hand of Jehovah has turned against me."
Again they wept loudly, after which Orpah kissed her mother-in-law and departed. But Ruth,
I want to tell you something about the name Orpah. Oprah was supposed to be named Orpah. But she said that the hospital where she was born didn't know how to spell the Oprah, and so the mother kept it, or they couldn't change it, something like that. Isn't that fascinating? Ooh, headache. Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'll get it. Boop.
stuck with her. So Naomi said,
"Look, your widowed sister-in-law has returned to her people and her gods. Return with your sister-in-law."
But Ruth said,
Do not plead with me to abandon you, to turn back from accompanying you. For where you go, I will go, and where you spend the night, I will spend the night. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Jehovah do so to me, and add to it, if anything but death should separate me from you.
When she saw that Ruth insisted on going with her, she stopped trying to convince her. And they both continued on their way until they came to Bethlehem. As soon as they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole city became stirred up over them, and women were saying,
Is this Naomi?
She would say to the women,
"Do not call me Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has made life very bitter for me. I was full when I went, but Jehovah made me return empty-handed. Why should you call me Naomi when it is Jehovah who opposed me and the Almighty who caused me calamity?"
This is how Naomi returned from the fields of Moab, along with her Moabite daughter-in-law, Ruth. They came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
But
Now Naomi...
chapter 1 is when a woman lost her 2 sons to death. and had her two daughter-in-laws with her, and was telling them to go back home to their parents and the families and stuff. So Orpah left, but yeah, Orpah Orpah went home. Ruth stayed with Naomi, and then she wanted her name to be. Hold on, I'm getting it. Hold on, where is it? Mara. To call her Mara, Mara. So, because she says that the Almighty caused her calamity. So, let's see.
She had a relative on her husband's side who was very wealthy. His name was Boaz, and he was of the family of Elimelech. Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi,
"Let me go out, please, to the fields and glean among the ears of grain behind whoever looks on me with favor."
So Naomi said to her,
"Go, my daughter."
At that she went out and began to glean in the field behind the harvesters. By chance she came upon a plot of land belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Just then Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and said to the harvesters,
"Jehovah be with you."
And they replied,
"Jehovah bless you."
Boaz then asked the young man in charge of the harvesters,
"To whom does this young woman belong?"
The young man in charge of the harvesters answered,
"The young woman is a Moabitess who returned with Naomi from the fields of Moab. She asked, 'Please, may I glean and gather among the cut-off ears of grain left behind by the harvesters?' And she has been on her feet since she came this morning until just now, when she sat in the shelter for a short rest."
Hey, Carol, how are you?
Then Boaz said to Ruth,
"Listen, my
I'm good.
daughter. Do not go away to glean in another field, and do not go anywhere else. Stay close by my young women. Keep your eyes on the field that they harvest, and go with them. I have commanded the young men not to touch you. When you are thirsty, go to the water jars, and drink from what the young men have drawn."
At that she fell face down and bowed down to the ground and said to him,
"How have I found favor in your eyes? And why have you taken notice of me when I am a foreigner?"
Boaz answered her,
"A full report was made to me of all you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband, and how you left your father and your mother and the land of your relatives to go to a people whom you had not known before. May Jehovah reward you for what you have done, and may there be a perfect wage for you from Jehovah, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to seek refuge."
To this she said,
"Let me find favor in your eyes, my lord, because you have comforted me and spoken reassuringly to your servant, although I am not even one of your servants."
Boaz said to her at mealtime,
"Come here, eat some of the bread, and dip your piece in the vinegar."
So she sat down beside the harvesters. He then handed her some roasted grain, and she ate and was satisfied, and she had something left over. When she got up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men,
"Let her glean even among the cut-off ears of grain, and do not mistreat her. You should also be sure to pull out some ears of grain from the bundles for her, and leave them behind for her to glean, and do not say anything to stop her."
So she continued to glean in the field until evening. When she beat out what she had gleaned, It came to about an ephah of barley. Then she took it and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. Ruth also took out and gave to her the food that was left over after she had eaten her fill. Her mother-in-law then said to her,
"Where did you glean today? Where did you work? May the one who took notice of you be blessed."
So she told her mother-in-law about whom she had worked with, saying,
"The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz."
At that, Naomi said to her daughter-in-law,
"May he be blessed by Jehovah, who has not failed in his loyal love toward the living and the dead."
Naomi continued,
"The man is related to us. He is one of our repurchasers."
Then Ruth the Moabitess said,
"He also told me, 'Stay close by my young people until they have finished my entire harvest.'"
Naomi said to her daughter-in-law Ruth,
"It is better, my daughter."
So here in chapter 2, not Naomi, Ruth was allowed to glean, well, the other ones was doing it. Gleaning means working, so the other one was doing it in the, what's his name? Abimelech, Boaz. Told the guys, don't harm her, don't touch her. Put extra out, drop extra on this so she can glean it, and get the grain off of it, and so she can bring it home to her mother-in-law, so they can eat well and yeah. So, let's listen on.
For you to go out with his young women, than to be harassed in another field.
So she stayed close to the young women of Boaz, and gleaned until the barley harvest and the wheat harvest came to an end.
Yeah.
And she kept dwelling with her mother-in-law.
And as you heard, she stayed close.
Chapter 3.
She stayed close to the women and gleaned after them and stayed with her mother-in-law.
Naomi, her mother-in-law, now said to her,
"My daughter, should I not look for a home for you, so that it may go well with you? Is not Boaz our relative? He is the one whose young women... He is winnowing barley at the threshing floor. So wash yourself and rub on some perfumed oil. Then dress up and go down to the threshing floor. Do not make your presence known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, take note of the place where he lies down. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what you should do."
At that she replied,
"All that you say to me, I will do."
So she went down to the threshing floor and did all that her mother-in-law had instructed her to do. Meanwhile, Boaz ate and drank and was feeling good at heart. Then he went to lie down at the end of the grain heap. After that, she quietly came and uncovered his feet and lay down. At midnight, the man began to shiver, and he leaned forward and saw a woman lying at his feet. He said,
"Who are you?"
She replied,
"I am Ruth, your servant. Spread out your garment over your servant, for you are a repurchaser."
At that, he said,
"May Jehovah bless you, my daughter. You have shown your loyal love more in this last instance than in the first instance, by not going after the young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, have no fear. I will do for you everything that you say, for everyone in the city knows that you are an excellent woman. While it is true that I am a repurchaser, there is a repurchaser more closely related than I am. Stay here tonight, And if he will repurchase you in the morning, fine, let him repurchase you. But if he doesn't want to repurchase you, I will then repurchase you myself, as surely as Jehovah lives. Lie down here until the morning."
So she lay at his feet until the morning, and then got up, before it was light enough for anyone to be recognized. He then said,
"Do not let it be known that a woman came to the threshing floor."
He also said,
"Bring the cloak that you are wearing and hold it out."
So she held it out, and he put 6 measures of barley in it and put it on her,
Wow.
after which he went into the city. She went her way to her mother-in-law, who now said,
"How did it go for you, my daughter?"
She told her everything that the man had done for her. She added,
He gave me these 6 measures of barley and said to me, 'Do not go empty-handed to your mother-in-law.'"
At that she said,
"Sit here, my daughter, until you learn how the matter will turn out. For the man will not rest until he settles the matter today."
So here, she went to lay down next to Boab, and I'm sorry, Moab, and probably try to gain him as a husband and stuff. I guess that's what they did back then. I don't know. And so when he noticed her and stuff, he knew someone else probably would be better off with her, and if that didn't go well, he would take her as well. He would take her himself, and gave her 6 measures of barley. That's awesome. That stuff's good for you. She went back to her mother-in-law. So she's trying to find a home for her, so it'll be better off with the husband, then she can have children and stuff like that.
Chapter 4. Now Boaz went up to the city gate and sat there. And look, the repurchaser whom Boaz had mentioned passed by. At that Boaz said,
"Come here and sit down, so-and-so."
And he went over and sat down. Then Boaz took 10 of the city elders and said,
"Sit down here."
So they sat down. Boaz now said to the repurchaser,
"Naomi, who has returned from the fields of Moab, must sell the plot of land that belonged to our brother Elimelech. So I thought I should disclose it to you and say, buy it in front of the inhabitants and the elders of my people. If you will repurchase it, repurchase it. But if you will not repurchase it, tell me, so that I will know, for you have the claim to repurchase it, and I am next in line after you."
He replied,
"I am willing to repurchase it."
Then Boaz said,
"On the day you buy the field from Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth, the Moabitess, the wife of the dead man, in order to restore the name of the dead man to his inheritance."
To this the repurchaser said,
"I am unable to repurchase it, for I may ruin my own inheritance. Repurchase it for yourself with my right of repurchase, because I am not able to repurchase it."
Now this was the custom of former times in Israel concerning the right of repurchase and exchange to validate every sort of transaction. A man had to remove his sandal and give it to the other party, and this was the manner of confirming an agreement in Israel. So when the repurchaser said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself," he removed his sandal. Then Boaz said to the elders and all the people,
"You are witnesses today that I am buying from Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech, and all that belonged to Chilion and Mahlon. I am also acquiring Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, as a wife, to restore the name of the dead man to his inheritance, so that the name of the dead man will not be cut off from among his brothers, and from the city gate of his home. You are witnesses today.
At this, all the people who were in the city gate and the elders said,
We are witnesses.
May Jehovah grant the wife who is entering your house to be like Rachel and like Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel.
May you prosper in Ephrathah and make a good name in Bethlehem.
May your house become like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the offspring that Jehovah will give you by this young woman.
So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. He had relations with her, and Jehovah let her conceive, and she gave birth to a son. Then the women said to Naomi,
Praised be Jehovah, who has not left you without a repurchaser today. May his name be proclaimed in Israel.
He has restored your life and will sustain you in your old age, because he has been born to your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons.
Naomi took the child and held him to her bosom, and she cared for him. Then the neighbor women gave him a name. They said,
A son has been born to Naomi.
and they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, David's father. Now this is the family line of Perez. Perez became father to Hezron. Hezron became father to Ram. Ram became father to Amminadab. Amminadab became father to Nahshon. Nahshon became father to Salmon. Salmon became father to Boaz. Boaz became father to Obed. Obed became father to Jesse. And Jesse became father to David.
Wow. So,
Chapter 4. Now Boaz went up to the city gate and sat there. And look, the repurchaser whom Boaz had mentioned passed by.
I thought we already did this. We already read that. Um, so she got a husband. She had a baby. I guess Naomi claimed it as her baby. I don't understand that too much. But so she has a baby, so she has a place to call home, and she has a good husband to take care of her, and she'll take care of him, and yeah, so there you go. And so now we'll read Carol's verse request is Mark chapter 11, verse 16. And he would not let anyone carry a utensil through the temple. Okay, let's go back and read. They now came to Jerusalem. There he entered the temple and started to throw out those selling and buying in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. And he would not let anyone carry a utensil through the temple. He was teaching and saying to them, Is it not written, my house will be called a house of prayer for all the nations? But you have made it a cave of robbers. And the chief priests and the scribes heard it, and they began to seek how to kill him. Oh, that's horrible. For they were in fear of him, because all the crowd was astounded at his teaching. Yes. So that is they started selling stuff inside the temple, thinking it was okay when it's not. That's a house of prayer, not a house of robbers, I guess. That's what Jesus called them. Luke chapter 12, verse 15. Then he said to them, keep your eyes open and guard against every sort of greed, because even when a person has an abundance, his life does not result from the things he possesses. Yes. And that is going to be it. I'm going to upload the verse of the day, and I will talk to you later. Well, don't judge. Don't hold a grudge.